You are listening to the Spine Whisperers podcast. Please know that our doctors are here to only educate, not diagnose on this podcast. If you have any questions, please feel free to find us at www.mfwellness.org. Hey, thanks for tuning in and listening to this Spine Whisperer podcast. Myself, Dr. Brad, Dr. Josh.
Hello.
Welcome back.
So thanks very much. I've missed being in here and doing my thing, and generally degrading the process.
Well, I feel like
a month.
We did give you props for the last time sitting that one out, so that
it's true. It was hard. I was outside the door,
ear to the door, listening.
I was underneath the door, sliding papers underneath the door, trying to make you guys laugh.
All the words that were on the podcast were actually Dr. Josh feeding us script.
It's true.
So on today's podcast, we're going to talk about different ways to learn. There's 4 general ways that people learn the best. There's an acronym, V.A.R.K.
Oh my God.
Visual, auditory, reading, and
kinesthetic.
V.A.R.K,
bro.
V.A.R.K. So with the visual portion of learning, you're really going to find, someone writing stuff on the chalkboard, looking at different diagrams, pie charts, not necessarily watching movies or like slideshows.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting when I was reading through that, like you said, maps, graphs, diagrams, charts, but visual learners don't really necessarily gravitate to photos and videos. Mm-hmm. I always kind of lump that into visual learning,
And when you look at that, it could be that it's more visualization, meaning, how do I get from point A to point B with X amount of things? And it's like, well, how can I visualize that? How do I separate that out? So visualization learners have more visual input, and that's really how they learn. As someone explains something, drawing not a photo but a diagram of how you get from point A to point B.
Yeah, making a model of it.
Yeah. So that's
V. This is the V in V.A.R.K.
Yeah.
Not V, the TV show from the 80s. Oh man,
that was great.
I still have one of those tapes from Blockbuster Video.
Do you?
Yeah. I forgot to return it, and then they went out of business.
We could just find a
it's
VHS
like
player.
V, the first tape.
Wow.
There's like 27
It was
episodes.
the talk of the town for a long time. It's like,
weird.
hey, have you seen V?
Then they tried to bring out another one, right?
Yeah,
and it
it's
failed.
So stupid.
Horribly, yeah.
It's like, we get it, reptiles. But by then, people have moved on.
Secret reptiles.
Yeah,
right?
secret reptiles. Now they're into mummies.
Skin
tore a little zombies, I guess, now.
The makeup artists on those,
It's terrible.
Where do they get their lasers from? Their guns. Their laser guns.
You mean the special effects?
The same place we got our laser.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Light Force?
Yeah.
You think they, back in the 80s, before they did therapy lasers, they were making prop lasers?
I'm giving you props, bro.
Nice, bro.
So, A, and that is auditory learning style. So it's kind of like it sounds. So these individuals learn best by hearing it.
Right.
So they enjoy lectures and they get a lot out of lectures. But also, in addition to that, what they find is that they actually get a lot of learning from actually speaking it, repeating what they've learned. Mm-hmm. So it's not only taking in auditory, but them also regurgitating that, I guess you would say, that information as well. They do really well in group discussions because they can kind of bounce these ideas off of other people. Group studying is probably where they do well also because they're hearing it not only from the instructor, but when they're studying with a group, they're hearing it from other individuals, and they can also in the same manner present that information to their peers. So that's auditory learning. So that's the A in V.A.R.K.
I'm the K.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the
We're
R?
skipping the R. We're skipping the R.
Yeah.
We're skipping the R.
We'll go
K.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do it backwards.
So, no.
I don't think the guy that make up the
First
acronym
of all,
cares.
we're not going to do it backwards.
He might not be listening.
Maybe it's spelled V.A.R.K. R.K.
Maybe we just go to his house and beat him up. Tell him we're changing it.
So the R is reading and writing. The information that you get and the way that you learn with reading and writing is you basically write out your notes. You have a study guide and you read the chapter or read the lecture or read the information, digest it, write it out. That's really the way I like to study. As a side note, I like to go through and say it in my head, write it out, and then go through and see if I can't regurgitate that. So reading and writing, for me, is the way to go.
So,
Okay.
nice. So the last group that we're gonna kind of cover is the kinesthetic learners, and these types of persons like to do the thing. So if you're trying to teach them, how to take something apart or put something together, they're going to be best when you just let them at it. Like go ahead and use that and break it. And then we'll figure out how to put it back together, and then you'll understand it better than a diagram would, better than somebody else telling them about it would. A lot of times, as young people progress through the stages of learning, we get a lot of them in here who are very kinesthetic learners. So we're talking about bones, we're talking about health. We've always got, come into the office, there's bones everywhere. There's model bones everywhere. We have, touch this, look at this. We show them, we make them do the thing to help them learn. And I think it's pretty successful. We've had people come back after years and they still kind of understand what the heck we're doing here. They have questions about it. Especially young people, it really seems to get them engaged. And I really enjoy it. That's probably the type of learning that I do best. I don't understand something until I've broken it, and then try to put it back together or built it and it failed horribly. And then I build it the third time and it's great. But that's because I've made my peace with the fact that the first time I build anything, it's going to be wrong. But it's way better. For me, I seem to get the most value out of doing the thing. And then I know, Dr. Maurer, you're the same way. It's like, it's just that type of learning. It's just that, like, you're already into it. Let's go.
I'm definitely that, and a little bit to a degree the reading and writing. Also, because I've done that before, where I just kind of I have the notes, but then maybe I have the textbook and I rewrite some of the stuff. So I do that as well. But I would say kinesthetic to a higher degree. But I was just thinking about the courses that I've taught and how
I was going to ask.
All of those are incorporated. The visual, of course. Even a lot of the textbooks have diagrams and charts and all that kind of stuff.
And there's study groups.
And group discussions. I have them break up into groups for projects. And then, of course, with the labs, that's your kinesthetic.
Yeah.
They'll get their
That's
hands on
got to be some
everything.
cool tech. So for those of you who don't know, Dr. Maurer is actually a doctor professor, and he's an adjunct professor over at Maryville University. He teaches the biomechanics, which is
biomechanics, kinesiology,
and kinesiology, which is one of the most. It incorporates so many different fields of study. It's physics, it's biology, it's engineering. It's the coolest thing in the world. All of my sons have so far expressed interest in being different types of engineers, and I keep trying to tell them about how the body. The more we have learned, especially the last 10 years about the body. It's just engineering, and fixing people is an application of engineering. They're not buying it so far. They want to make rockets.
They keep working on it.
Yeah.
Which so do I.
But definitely incorporate all four of these to some degree in both the lecture and the lab. The kinesthetic, of course, more in the lab setting.
Oh yeah, man.
But then the reading and writing, of course, that falls into both of those courses as well. So even when I'm not really thinking about it, I am incorporating all these four major ones. And like we'll talk about here in maybe a minute, some psychologists have come up with up to 170 different learning styles. So we can break this into a ton of different ones. These are the four major ones. I think we're going to talk about a few
just
others.
to help parents that we take care of understand, it has been my experience anyway, that kids often don't learn the same way that their parents did. And so helping you guys kind of bridge that gap or just put you on the thought process. You can research all of this till you're blue in the face, but we just want to kind of point out they may not learn the same as you. So when you're doing homework or it's being taught a way that you're not familiar with, that's what's going on.
It's difficult for us parents and for people to understand that, hey, you're not getting it. Maybe it's not me teaching it. It's the way that you're learning that needs to be changed. And people just if you keep hammering against something and you make no gain, you need to change how you're approaching it.
It's so different from how it was when we were growing up.
And then the kid gets turned off to any type of learning, and it's
might just need a switch.
Yeah,
a switch in how it's presented.
Or just a different person. If Sarah is going over stuff with Landon and Chandler likes to learn with Sarah, and Landon likes to learn with me.
None of my kids like to learn with me.
But
They're like, no, Dad, I don't have any homework. I'm like, I know you have homework. Give it to me.
Chandler just needs a gentler hand, a more hey, look at it this way. let's go at it from a different way.
Yeah.
Like, but Landon,
And what
just
are you
needs-
like? Are you like, no?
No,
This way.
I try to be super sensitive. To
I tell them the
people's
wrong
needs.
thing, so they'll have to come back and learn.
But yeah, I only know how to teach one way, and that's the right way.
That's right.
All right.
The royal justice.
I remember my mom and dad when we would work on stuff at home, and instead of just giving me the answer, mom would be like, okay, think about it this way. And then dad would be like, he would do exactly what I do. He would draw a parallel
Yeah.
from like left field onto the thing that we're working on. And I'm like, how does that get me to the end?
Yeah.
And now,
You just want the answer.
now being 43 years old, I get it now. I get what he was trying to do. Just as a 11-year-old, I could care less.
Yeah, junior year, I had chemistry, honors chemistry with Miss Crewall, and page 133, question 7, was a question on converting molarity. And I did it, and my answer didn't match the answers in the back of the book, which if you, chemistry, or the same book sets that we did growing up, only the odd answers were in the
Right.
back of the book, right?
Right.
So my answer didn't match. So I went and got my dad. He did it. He's like, "Oh, the answer in the back of the book is wrong." I'm like, "There's no way the answer in the back of the book is wrong, Dad. It's a book. Like it can't be right." So we tried to do it again. He's like, "I'm not messing around with this anymore." So went into school the next day. Miss Crewall's like, "Hey, page 133, question 7 is wrong." And I'm like, "God." I never asked him for help again after that. He's like, "How about that question?" I'm like, "I don't know." And so to this day, it's something we joke about. But yeah, it's crazy, But anything that we can help you parents, because as much as I would like to think kids listen to the podcast, they probably aren't.
Yeah.
As much as we can help you parents, like just to introduce these, these are the different types of learning. If they want to just close the book and talk about the problem, teach it that way, or maybe build a model and model the problem out, or get a piece of paper and draw the problem out, or just instruct them. And do it all of the 4 ways as much as you can. And I bet you see some cool reactions.
And sometimes it's having someone outside of the family help them as too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like a tutor situation.
Absolutely.
As they get older, their peers. So that's an option as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think about all the tutoring that used to happen back in the day, like the special tutors, not even that you were having trouble,
Right.
Not even that you were having trouble learning it.
Right.
It's just to help you and to get you to understand where you're going with the problems or the subject, English, math, whatever you're doing. It's the special tutoring that allows you more of an insight, right?
And it's just a different way of teaching it. Like I was doing biochem before I realized, like, oh my God, I went to one study group because I really was having trouble with it was transfer RNA and its role in the Krebs cycle, like how exactly it works. It doesn't matter. But I went to the study group and I was like, holy cow, because they were doing it a different way. They were building models of it with the little plastic things. If you come into our office, you'll see I still have that model set. I have constructed an aspirin molecule just to do it. It's over in the pediatric area because kids like to chew on it. But that's where I got that. And I went to the study group and I was like, oh my God, it's a totally different way of learning. And I fell in love with biochemistry all over again. It's just because I went to, if I had been going my whole career, I'd probably be an astronaut.
And sometimes, people are like, tutoring, I don't know but if you think about athletics, there's all these specialized coaches now. You have a hitting coach, you have a pitching coach. You can kind of view it as the same thing. This tutor is like your specialized coach who's going to help you.
Yeah, and they're writing it down. They're drawing it out for the kids. They're not just hitting, It's pretty neat.
And on the same line of tutoring, they now, as the kids go through summer break, now they have like math camp and science camp. At the actual school where your kids go,
STEM
that allow you to
STEM
maintain,
camp, man, that pumps me up.
to keep a lot of those skills kind of fresh because,
They make it fun.
Yeah,
As fun as it can be. If you're competing with unrestricted iPad and Nintendo time, nothing's going to be fun.
Yeah, except for outside.
That's right. So you got to
And this year it's been
what a mess.
unusually warm.
Anyway.
A couple of the other learning styles that we'll kind of touch on here briefly, the logical or analytical learners, the ones that want, why is it this way? How did this come to be? What are my next steps? Those kind of learners are best. The connections, causes, the patterns, everything that kind of deals with that. Social and linguistic learners are the ones that are good with group learning, talking about it, figuring it out. I know that a bunch of times that we've had problems in the office regarding coding or something like that, we all get together in the huddle and okay, how is this going to be coded out? You know, that it's a different kind of situation, but the talking about and seeing what your line of thinking is, and then, you know, getting input from other people is like, well, that's a good idea, but like, let's think about it this way. Somebody else's hot take or different take on a subject kind of can spur that learning curve.
I love it.
The other two, they're, you know, black and white. It's solitary and then group learning. Mm-hmm. So solitary is exactly what it sounds like. Right. They want a book in front of them. They want all the information that they need to learn. Give them a couple months, and they'll have it down pat. The other one is the other two
nature.
Actually. Yeah, nature.
Back on the just real quick on the solo.
Yeah.
I think of all these, and it's different times maybe in your life or different aspects or different things you're learning. I definitely think if I'm learning something like the first time, I remember in college, I would go to the library and I'd find like,
oh yeah,
I'd be on the third floor, the back
way
corner,
back, right?
And the first time I learned something, that's kind of the way I wanted to learn it. I wanted to be on my own, figuring things out on my own.
It was a little different at Mizzou's library. If you're on the third floor, way at the back, that library is, you know, it's Missouri's public depository for records at Mizzou, at that library, but also it's weird.
Some weird stuff.
Yeah,
no problem.
Don't go back there.
No solitary learning.
Don't go back. You could do that. Just do that in the front. Okay. You know.
Yeah. Weird. All right.
Yeah. There's people who have been lost back up there in the stacks for decades. You're like, where's the?
They're still there.
It's like, what year is it? You're like, get out of here. You know. So.
One more thing to add regarding learning. I feel like I really know a subject if I'm able to teach somebody else it. If I understand how to do long division and I can explain in detail how to formulate it and go step by step, I feel like it's the best thing for me. If I need to explain to you how to kick a soccer ball, you know, I'm going to say approach it, foot on this side, square your hips, kick through it if you're going for a pass or for a shot. That's the way that I know that I have the subject down pat.
Yeah.
I can talk to you nonstop. I can explain exactly how to do it, why you're doing it that way, and fix anything that I need to while I'm explaining how to do it. Yeah. That's how I know that I understand the subject.
Definitely. I had one instructor who he probably said it during the semester like at least 50 times. He said, if you can't teach it, you don't know it.
Yeah.
He would say that all the time. So, and I agree. Like, when it comes to the solitary learning, that's how I like to learn it first. Mm-hmm. But then beyond that, when you're studying with a group, I agree with you.
Yeah,
like, you want to be able to teach it, and then you know that you
and that's just the material. That's just a cool skill to develop anyway. Being able to teach people stuff. It's just it's right up there. You know, you talk about faith, hope, and love. Like just a reference to the Bible. Like you're at your best when you're helping others. You know. And then when you're teaching them, that's just an incredible way to do it. So, yeah, that's cool. Awesome.
And then the nature learners, I love being in nature. Personally, I found in the past when I go outside and try to read or study, I have a hard time because I don't want to be doing something else. Like it's a nice day and I'm out there and I start reading. I'm like, you know what? Forget this.
I'm going. Yeah, if I'm in the woods, like that's
active and
that is my preferred location. Is the woods.
Yeah.
So they're not teaching me anything there because I won't be able to focus.
Yeah. Now, if it's something to do with
the woods,
nature,
then
we're
talking about canopies or something. Sure.
Yeah. It has to be. I think. I have to learn something about the outdoors.
Yeah. God bless those people that can stay focused in the classroom. You know, Quiver River State Park, the best state park on earth. They have just tons and tons and tons of workshops. You know, learning about raptors, learning about spiders, learning about animals that come out at night, and they have this outdoor workshop classroom, and it is stupid cool. Like if you've been listening to this podcast and you haven't been to Quiver River State Park or taken part in it, you're just really missing out. It's just.
Or you somehow listened to the only one podcast where we don't mention it.
Didn't reference that wonderful state park and those incredible park rangers. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm back.
You're good, man. Yeah. You're good. So. that's what we wanted to bring to you today, was the discussion on learning how to do it the best way for yourself. And then if you need to change things. Yeah. Don't just keep throwing mud against the wall and hope that it sticks. Nope, that's not the saying. What's the saying?
The saying we can't say.
Oh, okay. The other mud.
Yeah.
The other mud.
Yeah.
Okay. So, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
For myself, Dr. Matt, Dr. Josh, Dr. Brad.
Have a good week.
Yep.
And then if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them on the podcast. And if you need to email me, it's drmatt@mfwellness.org.
.org. Not .net. That's weird.
Yeah.
Good weird stuff there. .org.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Right. Bye, guys.
A big thank you goes to Hug Monster Sound for all the hard work they put into making us sound so great.